There is a word we almost never use when we talk about struggle: privilege. And I want to use it today, deliberately, uncomfortably, because I think the people who have struggled the most have been handed something the people who haven't will spend the rest of their lives trying to buy, and they will never find it, because it's not for sale. It is only earned, the hard way, the only way. There is an illusion that most people carry so quietly they don't even know it's there, that life will cooperate, that if you are talented enough, things will eventually smooth out, that if you work reasonably hard, the path will eventually become clear, that if you are patient enough, someone will eventually notice. And comfort is the thing that keeps that illusion alive. Comfort will never challenge you. Comfort never asks, is this thing really working? Comfort never forces the question you have been avoiding. Comfort just keeps the temperature pleasant, keeps the room quiet, keeps the difficult truth just far enough away that you never quite have to face it. Struggle does the opposite. Struggle walks into the room, turns on every light, and says what nobody around you has been willing to say. No one is coming to save you. No one owes you the outcome you imagined. The gap between who you are and who you need to be, that is your responsibility entirely. And it closes through work, not intention, not talent, not potential. Work. That is not cruelty. That is the most honest thing anyone on anything will ever say to you. Comfort whispers what you want to hear. Struggle tells you what you need to know. And what you need to know is always more valuable than what you want to hear. We have a deeply confused relationship with difficulty. We treat it like it's a malfunction, like something went wrong, like the fact that it is hard means it was not supposed to be hard. It was supposed to be hard. Not because the universe is cruel, but because nothing of structural value is ever built without resistance. The muscle does not grow in rest. It tears under load, and it rebuilds stronger in recovery. A blade is not forged in cool air. It is hammered under it until the metal becomes what it could not have been before the pressure. Character work exactly the same way. Every single time. Struggle builds things comfort cannot even draft the blueprint for. Number one, discipline. Not the kind you perform for an audience, but the kind that functions at 2 a.m. when no one is watching and nothing is working. Patience. Not passive waiting, but the active muscular decisions to keep moving when movements feel pointless. Humility. Not the performance of modesty, but the genuine understanding that you do not yet know enough, and that not knowing enough is not shameful. It is simply the starting point of the next level of confidence. And endurance, the most underrated quality in any room. The ability to still be standing when everyone who started alongside you has already sat down. These are not soft skills. These are survival infrastructures, and none of them are available in the comfort section. Struggle does not happen to you. Struggles happens for you. The difference between those two sentences is the difference between a victim and a professional. Here is the idea I want to sit with for a moment, because I think it reframes everything. Struggle selects people, not randomly, not cruelly, but specifically. Think about the people in your life who have been through the most, not the ones who complained the loudest, the ones who went quiet, dealt with it, and came out the other side carrying something the rest of the room couldn't explain. There is a specific quality those people have: a stillness, a groundedness, an absence of panic in situation that would paralyze someone who has never been tested. That quality was not installed at birth. It was constructed under pressure, over time, through exactly the kind of difficulty they probably wished at the time would just stop. And here is the painful, beautiful truth. The people who have been most broken by struggle are often the people most capable of holding space for others when they break. Because you cannot offer someone a map to a terrain you have never walked. You can only guide people through the darkness you have personally survived. That is why struggle is a privilege, not because it feels good, it really does, but because it produces something that the comfortable life cannot manufacture on any timeline or at any price. It produces a person who knows, not theoretically, not from books, but from the inside, from the bottom, from the specific kind of knowing that comes from having been there. And that knowledge, that bone deep, unshakable life knowledge, is the rarest thing on earth. Here is what nobody tells you about surviving hard seasons. Fear loses its leverage. Not all at once, not dramatically, but quietly, incrementally, with every difficulty you walk through. And do not let be the last thing. Fear runs out of new materials, because fear operates on a simple mechanism. It tells you that the thing ahead is worse than the thing behind. It says you cannot undo what is coming, but the person who has already lost something significant, who has already been humiliated publicly, who has already rebuilt from rubble, that person looks at fear's argument and has a response fear cannot counter. I've already been there. I know what the bottom looks like. I know what it costs. I know I can pay. And I know what it builds. So your threat means less than it did before. Try again. That is not arrogance. That is earned clarity. And it changes how you move through the world. The person who is not afraid to struggle, take bets others won't. Speak in rooms others stay silent in. Start things others only think about. Continues when others stop. Not because they are reckless, but because their reference point for hard has been recalibrated by actual experience. What looks impossible to someone who has never struggled look like Tuesday to someone who has. That is an unfair advantage, built from the most painful possible raw material, but an advantage nonetheless. So let me offer you this. Stop reading your struggle as evidence that life is working against you. Start reading it as evidence that life is working on you. There is a difference, and the difference is not semantics. The difference determines whether the difficulty breaks you open or simply breaks you. Because here is what I have seen in my own life and the lives of people I have studied, in the pattern that repeats itself across every field, across every era, and across every culture. The people who avoid struggle spend their whole lives afraid of something that hasn't happened yet. The people who walk into struggle not eagerly, not without fear, but deliberately, because they understand what it costs and what it builds. Those people spend their lives becoming something most people only dream of being. Dangerous, not to others, but dangerous to excuses, dangerous to doubt, dangerous to the voice that says you are not built for this. Because struggle already answered that question. And the answer was, you are more built for this than you knew. You just needed the weight to find you. Comfort protects you today. Struggle transforms you permanently. Comfort keeps the temperature pleasant. Struggle builds someone the temperature cannot affect. And in a world that will throw it at you regardless of how carefully you live, you do not want to be protected, but you want to be built.